Hi everyone. I'm sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, just type in the comment section that you can hear me. You're welcome to this live webinar with Watson Institute, opportunities for youth in collaboration with Watson Institute. So just let me see in the comment section whether you can hear me clearly. Great, 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 great. I can see a few people commenting that they can hear me. So we are live on Instagram, we are live on LinkedIn, we are also live on on YouTube. So opportunities for youth, we have pages on all these platforms and you can join us live there. So you can share it with your friends, share it with others who are interested in things like this and anyone you believe should be listening to us at this time. And I'm sure they are going to have a lot to learn from it and benefit a lot. My name is Isaac Osei Owusu, and I represent Opportunities for Youth. And I have with me here Melina. Melina, would you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Isaac. My name is Milena Kirilova, and I'm Associate Director of Search and Selection at Watson Institute. I've been in this role for multiple years. For multiple years, I've been working very closely with entrepreneurs and global leaders to help them to advance their work. So it's absolute pleasure to be here today and to share more opportunities with all of you. Thank you so much, Isaac, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you, Melina. And anytime you come on here, you give us great information. And I'm just glad you are here with us today. And I'm sure our listeners, our viewers are just going to benefit a lot. So, just to give you an idea of what we're going to do today, this is a webinar to introduce to everyone listening and everyone watching, introduce the Impact Fellowships from Watson Institute to everyone here. And that is exactly what Melina is about to do for us. So, in just the next few minutes, I'm going to hand over to Melina and she's going to do it for us. So, as you listen, take jot down your questions, anything you want clarification on. And once we are done, she's done with her presentation, you can ask your questions. Remember, we are live on LinkedIn, we are live on Instagram, and we are also live on YouTube. Opportunities for youth. And you can visit our website for other opportunities. We have several opportunities for young people across the world, whether be it fellowships, scholarships, PhDs, masters, job opportunities, and so on and so forth. So visit opportunitiesforyouth.org and you're just gonna enjoy it. It's just a whole lot. Daily tens and tens of opportunities are posted every day for you to benefit from. And one of such opportunities, or quite a number of such opportunities, come from Watson Institute. And Melina is here to tell us about this. So, Melina, I want you to take us away.
Thank you so much, Isaac. And I do want to dedicate a few first moments of my presentation to thank Opportunities for Youth to have this stage, to have an ability to talk to all of you. It's a wonderful platform. We always recommend our network to use Opportunities for Youth when they're searching for ways to grow, ways to access additional opportunities, and just expand whatever work that they are doing. But without the further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Watson Institute and fellowships, opportunities for growth that we offer. Before I dive into actual fellowships, I want to, in a few words, tell you what Watson Institute is and what we do. And I love using slightly different definitions. One is a bit more aspirational. Watson Institute is a place where impact driven entrepreneurs and leaders can find their community, accelerate their calling, and discover their calling and accelerate their careers. And practically speaking, what we do is we power impact fellowships for highly promising entrepreneurs and leaders in partnerships with corporations, foundations, and universities. And that element of partnership allows us to make all of our opportunities, all of our impact fellowships fully funded. So every single opportunity I'm going to talk to you about today, or you're going to see that are powered by Watson Institute, they're fully funded. There is no need to financially contribute or do anything of that sort. It's all there for you, and it's all free. Now, what is Watson Institute? For us, a big part of our community is our alumni community. They have done an incredible job after graduation from the programs that Watson Institute powers. And I included here just a few interesting statistics about our alumni impact. They have raised over 190 million US dollars. They have created over 2,000 paid jobs and impacted over 11 million people. The large percentage of Watson Institute alumni continuing their venture, employed in leading corporations and companies, and continuing their education. And my favorite part about our alumni community is how diverse they are. They are represented by over 50 countries, and here I highlighted just a few that are largely represented. Alumni, United States, China, Guatemala, Kenya, and Nigeria. So people come from all over the world to participate in the fellowships, and we're just incredibly happy to be able to provide these opportunities to such a wide network of people. Now, what is the fellowship? You're probably wondering, who is it for? How is it created? Who can join? So the fellowship is designed for entrepreneurs who are leading businesses, ventures, projects in their communities. That a final goal of those businesses and ventures is to help their communities, to help the environment in which they're in, and to create more impact in the world. And depending on the fellowship, we work with a very wide range of ventures and businesses and projects. So usually everyone is able to find a fellowship that fits them the most. The fellowships usually consist of 16 weeks of different programming, and there are a few elements that I wanted to highlight here throughout the presentation. First of all, we really focus on business and leadership development throughout the fellowships. So participants get to enjoy hands-on sessions focused on entrepreneurship, business acumen, financial literacy. They gain skills that help them to grow the work that they do. And all of the sessions are led by expert practitioners who are themselves very successful entrepreneurs or rising leaders. And that really allows participants, fellows who join fellowships to gain this real-time knowledge and apply it to the work that they do as they go through the program, which is a very helpful system for fellows to actually implement what they're learning. I would say the favorite element that a lot of our alumni highlight is the mentorship and capital connections. So throughout, first of all, we all know that the work of entrepreneurs sometimes might feel very isolated, or sometimes you feel like you don't know what the next step is, and you really would love some external perspective. So that's what mentorship really helps you to gain. And I actually do have a separate slide specifically on mentorship. But this is something that a lot of the participants enjoy having, this preceptor mentorship from other practitioners to help them identify maybe areas of struggles and how to resolve it. And then connections and the network, of course, come with it as well. Next element, which is a slightly unusual element for the programs of that caliber, is Basecamp, which helps you to create lasting impact in your community. A lot of the fellowships come with this opportunity to host an event within your community, which is called the Basecamp. Through you develop additional connections within your community. You promote the work that you do. You get feedback on the work that you do, but most importantly, you connect with your community there on the ground, and you learn more about what is happening in your community and how you can address those issues. I also have a separate slide on Basecamp. I'm sure you might have a lot of questions, but in short, if you participate in one of the fellowships powered by Watson Institute, you might have a chance to host this event. And of course, Watson Institute directly supports you in preparing and hosting the event. And finally, pitch training and summit. As we know, very often a successful entrepreneur needs to be able to very concisely tell other people what they do, how they do it, and be very clear about it and be as understandable as possible. So we do have a separate module that is dedicated specifically to pitch training, where professionals who do this work all the time guide you on how to structure your pitch, how to structure your presentation, how to even think slightly differently about the work that you do to be able to explain it to people who might not relate to the issue as much as you do. And then very often you have an opportunity to end the program with a professionally recorded pitch that then you're able to utilize after graduation in any other sort of events, fellowships that you do. So this is a very valuable practical takeaway, right, that you take from the fellowship. You walk away with an officially recorded pitch. And then with some fellowships, you also have an opportunity to actually present to a group of audience. That's what we call a summit. It's usually a virtual event where the top fellows from the fellowship get to present their pitches to a wide audience of Watson Institute and our corporate partners, which significantly increases their exposure and helps them to bring attention to the work that they do. Now, as I mentioned, I want to talk a little bit more about Basecamp because in my experience, and I've been with Watson Institute for over 5 or 6 years, this is one of the elements that stands out the most to a lot of our participants and fellows. Basecamp is essentially a 5-hour impact workshop that you host within your community, and that really helps to, first of all, bring more meaningful events to the communities that you all are working in. And it helps you to build up your venture, increase your event and community building skills. You get templates for future events, and you can host similar events as you go down the road. Your network expands exponentially as you connect with the community in such a way. And of course, you get very valuable feedback from the participants, from your partners who also organize or host this event with you. We've had events that have had over 1,500 people joining. We've had smaller events as a part of this Basecamp initiative, but overall feedback that we receive that it's such a valuable opportunity, and that each entrepreneur who hosts a Basecamp walks away with tremendous amount of experience and perspectives that they might not have had before. So we are really proud to be able to support entrepreneurs who join fellowships with this element. Mentorship experience. I know for quite a few entrepreneurs, this is something that you all are looking for, right? You might have questions, you might need additional perspectives. In fact, Watson Institute works with quite a few entrepreneurs who don't have professional background. And actually, I would say the majority of entrepreneurs that we work with don't have this standard business background. They didn't go to a business school. They maybe haven't been part of any accelerator programs. Very often they come to a place where they just don't know what to do next. And of course, our programs are designed to accommodate with the wide variety of issues that entrepreneurs face. But this mentorship experience, very often one-on-one experience or group-to-one experience, really helps fellows to go past those challenges and advance the work that they do. I listed here a few group learning opportunities and connection opportunities. We have Brain Trust, which is intimate roundtable conversations between 4 to 6 fellows and a successful entrepreneur or a business executive. So not only you get to get their feedback, you also get to meet them. You also get to tell them, a successful business executive, about the work that you do. And you bring your real challenges to the table for the honest dialogue and actionable guidance. The next element, case study sessions, also a very, very interesting one. Fellows takes a hot seat and have their venture examined in real time by a practitioner with relevant experience. Again, opportunity to just get feedback on the work that you do, and even maybe think through things that you felt like they were successful in your venture, but get additional feedback and see how you can improve on them. And then finally, we have Mentor Roundtable, which is a panel of 3 to 4 mentors sharing expertise on the topic selected based on the cohort needs. Now, I'm glad I included this part here, because I want to emphasize that each program, each fellowship can usually customized to the needs of each participant or participants in general in real time, right? So you go through the fellowship, it's 16 weeks, and you don't have like this predetermined schedule and you just stick to it because this is what they designed. There is a program manager with each program, and they talk to you, and they are able to adjust the program so it is of the most help to entrepreneurs who are in the program. And I think it's an incredible element that I know a lot of other programs are not able to do in our fellowships. We provide that customization in real time. And so this is Mentor Roundtable. It's just one of these examples where we're just able to create those opportunities in real time for entrepreneurs based on their needs. Now, on top of those group mentorship experience, you of course have access to one-on-one mentorship opportunities, which a lot of people do find quite valuable. Each fellowship comes with entrepreneurs or entrepreneur in residence, which essentially means that there is an active entrepreneur who is building their successful venture, and they join fellowship with you, and they're just there for you to answer your questions. You have opportunities to sign up on one-on-one conversations with them and ask questions, connect, see what they think about the work that you do, maybe share some challenges and issues to get feedback, to get help. As I mentioned earlier, a part of the fellowship, you join impact workshops. And so each module is being led by a preceptor who is a professional in each of the topics that they're teaching. So you're able to connect with them one-on-one as well to get even more feedback, to get even more perspectives on the work that you do. Program manager is also always there for you to answer more logistical questions and help you to navigate Watson Institute programs, but also Watson Institute ecosystem. And then we're always very excited to make any network introductions. Sometimes, maybe entrepreneur in residence or preceptors don't have expertise in that, like very specific niche work that you do, right? So in that case, program manager is often able to connect you with someone from very wide network of Watson Institute to help you to get over that like specific challenge that you're facing. To give you an example of what the fellowship might look like day to day, here I have a typical week of entrepreneur. So we have on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, usually you have sessions in the first part of the day. Well, it depends on where you're located. So you have expert-led training for a couple of hours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, you have a flexible day where you might have a session meeting with an executive who is joining to learn more about your work. Maybe you have a mentorship session, or maybe you have a networking event. Our community building event. So Thursdays are a bit more customizable and flexible. And this is what I mentioned earlier. This is when this customization in real time comes in, because program managers are able to adjust the program to the needs of the participants. And then at the second row, you have non-required additional sessions that you might have. So you might have a preceptor one-on-one meeting, or a meeting with a mentor, or a meeting with someone from the Watson Institute team, or maybe meeting with another fellow from the fellowship you want to connect with. So what I love about fellowships powered by Watson Institute is that you really get from it what you put in, right? You can just attend 2 workshops a week and sort of get it done and be part of the fellowship and sort of graduate. But you have so many opportunities that are not required, but they're there for you. And so if you come in with full engagement, with full excitement, you are getting so much more than someone who just checks the required attendance check marks. All right, so now probably something that you've been all waiting for, what fellowships we currently have. And actually, I think you're very lucky, because specifically in this, what we call a cycle, so this time, we have one of the most stellar fellowships that we've ever had. We have so many opportunities right now. Just a few of them here. We have Google Data Center Community AI Fellowship. We're working with Ford Philanthropy to power incredible Ford Philanthropy Fellowship. Western Union continues to power Western Union Global Fellowship. We have Enlight Fellowship powered by Enlight Foundation, a flagship fellowship. And so to learn more about each of those fellowships, I'm going to ask Isaac to put this link in the chat or maybe in the comments. And you can go to watsoninstitute.is Impact Fellowships to learn more about each of those opportunities. You just scroll down on this page. Again, you can go to watson.is. Actually, I'll show you. So if you come on our website, watson.is, you can click on fellowships at the top, and you then navigate to Impact Fellowships. And you get to a page where you can see the variety of different fellowships that are currently accepting applications. We can see Western Union Global Fellowship. We can see Ford Philanthropy Fellowship, Flagship Fellowship, Google Data Center Community AI Fellowship, and many more. So a few things I would love to highlight that actually are highlighted on the page here. 2 things: focus area and location. So those are the main selection criteria that we use as Watson Institute. Focus area meaning the theme of your venture. What are you doing? Are you working within environmental sustainability, or maybe community building, or maybe AI solutions, or maybe mental health well-being? So depending on what venture area you have, you'll be able to find a fellowship that suits you the most. If, for example, you're not working within refugee and displaced communities, and you're working with something that is not mentioned here, Flagship Fellowship is one of the most flexible fellowships that don't have a very strict focus area. So I do recommend for you to apply to Flagship Fellowship if you're not sure, and if you're also located globally. However, if you already know that, and I quickly will talk through all the global fellowships that we have. For example, you work with refugee and displaced communities globally, whatever country you're at, you can apply to the Western Union Global Fellowship. And I highly recommend, because it's actually one of the world's leading opportunities, fellowships for refugees and displaced communities representatives. If you're working with youth mental health, mental well-being, Enlight Fellowship would be the best opportunity for you. So mental health, Enlight Fellowship, also accepting applications globally. Then we have a couple of fellowships here that are just US focused. So if you're based or creating impact in the United States, I would highly recommend you to check out BIMA Fellowship and Environmental Sustainability Entrepreneurship Program. But then moving on with our global fellowships, Ford Philanthropy Fellowship is created for those who support economic development, disaster preparedness, and response recovery in these following locations. And then Google Data Center Community AI Fellowship. So if you're doing AI work, you definitely should check out this opportunity if you're located in Finland, Netherlands, United States, or United Kingdom. And Halloran Fellowship is another US-based opportunity. So once again, watson.is, fellowships, Impact Fellowships, you'll be able to navigate to this page and see what opportunity is best for you. The thing I want to highlight is please only apply to one fellowship that you think you're the most fit for, because we receive applications all together. There is one big team that works on all of the fellowships. And we are able to see, to direct you to a better fellowship. If, for example, you have applied to the one that might not be the best fit. So please do not worry, just select one that fits you the most, that you resonate with the most, and apply. And let's, for example, see what the process is. When you click on one of the pages, there is an opportunity to start your application right away and fill out your information. Or if you want to learn more about the opportunity, which I highly recommend, you can scroll down and get a lot more information on what each fellowship entails. You see the high level overview, you see all the elements that all the elements we already talked about. You actually can see the experts that you will learn from throughout the fellowship, or some of the experts, right? We have a much larger team of preceptors who will be working with you. Some additional details for each fellowship. Eligibility criteria. Is this fellowship for me? Is it something that I will benefit from? Please review and see if that's a good fit. And then, of course, we do a high-level overview of the application process. And you have a chance to meet a lot of alumni, which honestly is one of my favorite pages. You can learn more about alumni of each of the programs by just clicking meet more alumni. If that helps you to have someone to resonate with, to see if your profile fits into the fellowship, you can check out the work that our alumni do. So once again, Watson.is Impact Fellowships. You learn more about each of those wonderful opportunities. As an additional reminder, all fellowships are fully funded. They're all free. There's no charges associated with participation. You graduate with a lot of knowledge, additional networks, connections, and just opportunity to grow quite a bit. And all of it is fully funded. Now, I know are really curious about the application process. What is it, and how do you get to be selected, how to get to participate in one of the fellowships powered by Watson Institute? So the first step, submit your application. As I just guided you through the website, you have access to all of those applications. You fill it out. It's about 30 minutes, and you have to do it by priority deadline. Depending on the fellowship, the deadlines are between the end of June to August. So really, right now, it's May 28th. It's a really good time to go and check out the fellowships and see when is the deadline. The earliest deadline is, I think, in a month for Western Union Global Fellowship. So you have about a month to do so, to figure out which opportunity is the best. I do highly recommend applying as soon as possible, because we do review applications on a rolling basis, right? So as soon as possible, applying as soon as possible is like the best advice I can give to maximize your ability to being selected. Once we review applications and we think you're a good fit for the fellowship, we invite you for a 20-minute one-on-one Zoom interview. So interview happens online, and it is really more of a conversation to make sure that you understand what fellowships you're joining, what the requirements. You share more about the work that you do, why you do it, what your passions are. And we really just want to connect and have this conversation and learn more about you. And of course, also to answer your questions, right? To make sure that you also feel confident and comfortable joining the fellowship if you're being selected. And finally, about maybe a month and a half to a month before the program starts, we send out acceptance notifications to the fellows who are being selected. And most of the programs begin in August/September. So right this summer, quite a few things happening. Make sure you plan this application process between your vacations and between the time off that you're planning for this summer, because it's going to be really, really instrumental to your growth to be able to participate, to be able to attend one of those opportunities. My favorite sections, application tips, right? A lot of people are wondering, okay, I really want to get in. I really want to go through one of y'all's fellowships, but how do I do it? How do I get in? First of all, as I said, you need to identify a fellowship that is a good fit for you and you are a good fit for, right? It's always a two-way sort of street that you need to connect with the fellowship on. So not only you have to be a good fit, this fellowship needs to be something you need, right? If you're a person who participated already in 10 other fellowship or accelerator programs, and you know all the entrepreneurial curriculums by heart, maybe this is not a fellowship you need. Maybe this is not an opportunity that you need. Maybe you need something else. Maybe you actually need to go out and start working on your venture and start participating in all of the fellowship programs. Maybe you've already, graduated from a business school and you have all of those elements and have all those resources that other people might not have. So maybe this, again, fellowship is not for you. So the program fit, right? Like, is this a fellowship that I'm passionate about? Is this a topic I'm passionate about? And honestly, if you're being transparent and honest in your application, that makes a huge difference. Now, venture stage and the quality, demonstrated traction and impact, we are working with established ventures. There are plenty of very early stage entrepreneurs who have incredible ideas, and we always have so much desire to support them. But unfortunately, all of our fellowships are designed to support entrepreneurs who have an active business, an active venture. It doesn't have to be a registered business. It doesn't have to be a business that has a specific structure. It can be for profit, it can be non-profit, but the only criteria is that you have to have a tangible project you're working on, because throughout the fellowship, you learn so much. You can retain all of this information in your head or even, in your notes. You have to be actively applying it as you go through the fellowship, right? The base camp, the same thing. It's an opportunity to actively apply the skills that you've learned, the knowledge that you have to the event. So this is why we always look at the demonstrated traction and impact of each fellow or potential fellow, each applicant, to make sure that they actually have a tangible product to be working on. They're not at the idea stage. The majority of the fellows we do select are past the MVP stage, so past the minimal viable product stage. And they're actively either selling their solution or giving it to the community. They have active customers and users and community that engages with them already. And those folks are looking to grow and accelerate and expand their teams. So this is the venture stage and quality. And of course, quite simply put it, application quality, we want to see that you put effort into the application, that you answered questions correctly, that you've spent some time on this application. And honestly, we, as you probably know, can tell by my accent or accents of other team members in our team, we come from different backgrounds, we come from different countries. English is not our first language, and totally fine. We totally understand it. So really, grammar is not something we look at. We look at the passion and how much effort you put into the application, and you can believe me that it's visible, right? Even if your English is not perfect, we can see the amount of effort you put in the application, and that's what it counts. And the final advice, right? I already talked about it. If there's one application tip I can give you, that would be it. Do not wait till the deadline. You would be amazed by how many applications we receive on the day of deadline. And of course, we have less time to review it. Each application gets less time when we're taking a look at it, and you're just being selected among much wider range of people. Because if you apply right now, we have a very stable sort of application receive rate, and we're able to spend more time on each applicant. We're able to interview more people at this stage right now because we simply have more time and less people applying. But 2 months before the program starts, everyone starts applying on the day of the deadline. Sometimes technical issues happen and you're not able to submit your application, or you realize maybe you still have some questions about the program and you don't have time to ask it because their deadline is already today. So please, 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 if you have time in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, fill out the application, apply, and then enjoy the summer. Wait for the response from our team. This is I'd say the best advice I can give. All right. So I try to be as straightforward and concise as possible, but without losing content and without withholding any valuable information. So now it is time for you to ask your questions and have a more of a conversation dialogue instead of me just talking at you. And I'm going to pass it to Isaac to help me to facilitate this part. I have not been looking at the questions, to be honest. So if you can help me here to see where we can
It's
start.
fine. Yeah, thank you so much. That was really great, straight to the point, and very clear. But of course, questions are coming in. I have a lot of questions for you, so just prepare yourself to answer quite a number of them. But before I throw some of the questions to you, yeah, general questions about whether it is free or not. I think you made that clear that it is free. It's absolutely free, and I think I like the quote, so I quoted it. They are all there for you, and all are free. That's what you told us. So it's free, nothing, no application fee, nothing. Just apply for it. You should just fit the criteria. I would want to start the questions by just you've spoken quite a bit, but let's try and get a picture of it. After application and a person is picked, or after you qualify, you apply and you pick. What's the picture like, right from the fellowship experience? Can you just tell us briefly how it's going to be like from point A to point Z? I don't know how you're going to help us with that.
Absolutely. I love this question. So let's imagine, let's close our eyes that we, on let's say July 29th, received our email that says, congratulations, you've been accepted to the fellowship powered by Watson Institute. In that email, you'll see a few action items that you have to do. You have to officially confirm your participation by signing a form. And then you're being invited to the pre-event, which is like a 1 hour call. We call it a Meet the Cohort event. That is going to happen a week or 2 weeks before the fellowship kicks in, to get to know program managers, to get to know other fellows. It's what essentially it is, Meet the Cohort event. It's an hour where you get to officially sort of connect with the members of the cohort and of Watson Institute to ask you questions about logistics, about like how the fellowship is going to go. And then when the fellowship starts, it usually begins on a Monday or a Tuesday of a specific week, and you get to join multiple sessions throughout that first 2 weeks that are covering, first of all, a lot of logistics of the fellowship, but also you dive into the content right away. You dive into the foundational module. You have sessions 2 to 4 times a week on foundations, on data metrics, on different topics that are covering entrepreneurial journey, and you get to ask your questions, you get to listen, you get to learn. All sessions have been recorded, so if you're not able to make 1 or 2 sessions or like any amount of sessions, you can watch the recording always. It's not recommended to stick to that way of participation because sessions are extremely interactive, right? You join in, you've been asked questions, you ask questions, other fellows ask questions, so it's very, very live, it's very interactive. So we always recommend to joining live. And so you participate in those sessions weekly, as I mentioned, on Thursdays, usually throughout the 16 weeks of the fellowship. You get what we call a like flexible block, flexible day. You get guest speakers, for example, someone from the corporate partners, so from Google or Ford Philanthropy might come in and speak to you about their initiatives or answer your questions or just come in to connect with you. So, or maybe executive of different organizations come in to, again, share the experience with you. So it's also very, very valuable experience. And then I think starting week, sometime in the middle of the fellowship, you start having sessions on Basecamp preparation. So you start preparing your event to take place, and it actually usually takes a bit more time that people anticipate. Preparing and hosting a base camp is usually time consuming, but our team is there. We do have a dedicated events team who is literally on the ground helping you, answering your questions, brainstorming with you how to host an event. So you preparing and hosting this event sometime in the middle to the end of the fellowship. And then at the end of the fellowship, you start preparing your pitch, you start preparing for Summit, which is a community culminating event of the fellowship where you get to present the work that you do, or you get professionally recorded pitch that you can later on use down the road. And of course, throughout all 16 weeks, you constantly get access to mentorship sessions, mentorship connections. You're constantly communicating with other fellowship participants. You learn more about their work, you cooperate with them. Very often, fellows of the fellowships that we power connect with each other and even start hosting and leading businesses together. They unite their businesses. So a lot of things are happening, but this is what the fellowship would look like from a perspective of a fellow who's actively going through the program.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to merge a number of the questions because they seem to be around the same thing. So let's still talk a little bit about the application. Um, on Instagram, I just read someone saying that I've been applying for fellowships, which I'm usually a good fit, but I'm never successful. So, what English works for the fellowship? All right. And other questions that are related to it will be that what mistakes do people often make when they are applying? And probably one advice would you give in applying for these fellowships?
Absolutely. This is such a great question. And whoever asked a question about applying to opportunities and never succeeding, a big part of it is you might think you're a good fit for the fellowship, but maybe in reality you're not. So a lot of people unfortunately do miss some essential informations about the fellowships, about their venture stage, about their location, right? And one little piece of information that you accidentally miss might make a big difference. And sometimes in reality, and I'm not talking about our fellowships, but other programs, sometimes you do know all of the internal criteria, all of the internal motivation. But what I want to assure you is that it doesn't mean that the work that you do is not impactful or is not meaningful or you're doing something wrong. It's just sometimes there are those uncommunicated expectations that you might just not know about. And the best advice I can give you is to continue applying, not to the same program, not to the same accelerator fellowship. Apply to different ones. Continue researching. They are appearing, like new opportunities come up every day, every year. And Isaac, I'm sure, can assure to it because their platform has so many of those opportunities and the amount of them grow each day. So you just have to continue pushing. The more applications you fill out, the more confident you feel about it. The more interviews you have, the more confident you feel about it. And you will find this one opportunity that you are a perfect fit for. So just keep pushing, continue applying. It is a difficult process. Being entrepreneur is difficult. But if you don't give up, if you continue, if you attend sessions like this, right, if you learn more about the fellowship that you're applying to in a bit more detail, you'll be able to succeed eventually, for sure. And then in terms of the mistakes and things that we often see that make actually reviewing applications difficult. So just from the perspective of a person who reviews your application, what makes it actually difficult is when people are not being straightforward, right? Especially with the use of AI and the use of, I don't know, any other applications that write the application for you. They make it very vague. They make it sound not very concrete. They use a lot of big, nice words that make you sound professional. But as I'm reading through your application, I just don't understand what you do. I simply do not understand how your business functions, right? I see all those words of things that you're trying to achieve, the impact that you're trying to create, which is helpful to understand your personal motivations. But when there is a section asking about your business and your venture and the work that you do, you need to be very concise and very straightforward. This is what I do. This is how I do it. And this is why I do it, right? The personal element is still important. But when you describe the work, you have to be you have to be straightforward. That's why I always advise to use your own words. Yes, of course, if you ask AI to write you an application, they can write you, I don't know, 3-4 pages. But if you do it yourself, it probably will take a few sentences. And that's what we need. We just need a few sentences of you telling us what you actually do.
Great.
So that's one important thing. And then the second important thing is the website. We actually do take a look at the websites, at the online presence, at any evidence of the actual sort of like work on the ground that you provide. Because again, in this virtual world, we just don't have any other way to double check that everything that is said is an application is accurate. So very often having testimonials, websites, social media presence, it's really, really helpful for us to not only see that the work you do is real, but also to understand them better, right? Because very often the way you present your work to your customers, to your community, is slightly different and usually a bit more understandable than the way you try to explain it to us, right, in the application. So we often use this pathway as well.
Great, great. I think that's so clear. I had the next question I had lined up for you. You seem to have answered it very well, because sometimes it's very difficult for people to communicate the impact they are making in the application. And I think what you said really goes to explain that. Unless maybe you have any other thing to add to that.
I would love to add to that, actually. We do have a question that specifically asks about impact that you have created. And sometimes people are getting a bit confused as to how to answer it. And I have like two avenues for you to do it. First of all, numbers, right? Numbers is the most easiest and understandable universal way to communicate what the practical impact that you've created. I worked with 10 individuals and I helped them, I don't know, to develop their skills to get their first job. I hosted an event that 100 people attended, and this is the work, sort of, this is my impact. Or maybe if you don't have large of an impact, you worked with like 2 or 3 individuals, you can share a story. I worked with this woman and she was in this situation and I helped her and I gave her this opportunity and now this is what's happening. Or I worked with this individual and he was struggling with so and now they're doing better because of the work that, you know, I've done. This is the impact that I've created. So it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be big numbers, but it has to be straightforward and easy to understand. So 2 things: numbers or a story.
Great. Thank you so much. So I would want to just ask these questions. I think people are stating the areas where their businesses cover, and just you just want to know whether it covers it. I'm not sure we'll be able to go through everyone's question specifically on that, but areas like agriculture, areas like child development, youth impact, uh, and the likes. Can people apply those in such areas? Can they apply?
Absolutely, yes. We have an incredible fellowship, global fellowship called Ford Philanthropy Fellowship that works under the principles of community getting together and helping to resolve community-oriented problems. So it can be anything from education and help with career development and help with skill trades, to helping with disaster release and recovery for areas that are being impacted by those things. So
Yep.
this is one opportunity. Another opportunity, so you mentioned like well-being. We have Enlight Foundation that is focused specifically on mental health well-being. So if you're working in the mental health space, especially youth mental health, that would be a perfect opportunity for you. Western Union is global fellowship is focused on refugee work and displaced community work. So if you are a refugee or displaced community representative and you're working on a venture that is not related necessarily to displaced communities, you're still eligible, right? So the goal of that fellowship is to support folks like you. And then finally, we do have flagship fellowship, which is open to any area of work. So if you just want to get an experience, just want to get to the fellowship, to the program, flagship fellowship might be a good opportunity.
All right. So let me take you a bit back to application. Uh, Entrepreneurs are all around, and we have quite different levels of project implementation. So I saw in the comment section someone saying that his business is at the ideation stage. So the question I really want to ask is what level of project or startup traction is expected before applying? And linked to that is how important is prior leadership experience?
That's a very good question. When it comes to your venture stage, it is really important to have a tangible, demonstrated traction. And what I mean by that, you have to have established organization or a business or a venture that is already working, is this already functioning. Unfortunately, idea stage would not work for fellowships that we power. We usually work with entrepreneurs who have an active product or a service that they're looking to grow and develop. So you have to have passed MVP stage, minimal viable product. You have to have an active product or service that you are distributing to your community, to people, for profit, non-profit, doesn't matter, but it has to be active and tangible. I think that was the first part of your question. And the second part of your question, I did forget. Can you remind me, Isaac?
Leadership. How important is prior leadership experience?
I love this question as well. We don't consider it as much to a factor unless your type of leadership demonstrates, I don't know, 30 years of executive experience. We just might think that you are not, this program is not needed for you, because the program does come with a lot of leadership education and leadership growth opportunities. So if you actually have too much of the leadership experience, then it might not be a good fit. So, but if you're still looking to get the additional leadership experience and grow as a leader, that would be a really, really good opportunity as well. But it's not a very strict factor. And usually, regardless of how much leadership experience you have, if you show true motivation and true desire to participate in the fellowship, we would consider your application.
Great. So let me just ask this question for quite a number of our audience. A significant number of our audience are students or just previous students who maybe just completed. They have a degree. They don't have a job, but they have great ideas, and they would want to apply for such fellowships. So I'm reading a question from Pius Yidana. He's saying that as a university, can a university graduate apply to these fellowship even if they are not entrepreneurs yet, and whether they can reapply after you've applied and maybe you've gotten into one. I think there are two different questions, but let me still ask them. Maybe you applied for one as an entrepreneur, you got it. Can you apply for another impact fellowship in future? So two completely different questions, but try and answer for us.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, unfortunately, our opportunities are only for folks who have an active business, an active venture that they're working on full time or at least part time. And so idea stage folks, I would really advise them to go to Opportunities for Youth website and find there are plenty of accelerator programs for very early stage entrepreneurs who have an idea stage. Opportunities for Youth are there for you. Watson Institute fellowships are designed for someone who has an active venture, who's an active entrepreneur, and who has been working on their work for at least a couple of years. So that's to answer the first question. And the second question was around
if after you complete one fellowship, you can apply for another one.
For a second one. That's actually a very interesting situation. So there are a few things that we're looking at. First of all, why are you reapplying for a fellowship? Because in reality, the curriculum of these fellowships is really similar. So you might go through a very similar program. There are a few exceptions that we do. First exception is that a lot of time has passed between your participation experiences. So that would qualify you for reapplying and being a part of the program a second time. Or you have a very different venture, a very different work. Ideally, those factors are combined. So it's like a few years after you participated and you have a different project. That would justify your additional participation. But usually it's a bit hard to get in if you've participated in the program already, simply because we're trying to get this opportunity to a wide range of people, and giving it to the same people all over again just not doesn't necessarily directly align with the impact we're trying to create. But if you have good reasons, we can explain it, and because we will reach out to you asking why are you reapplying if you already graduate. There's a chance.
Okay. So the projects that would qualify people to apply or get into these fellowships, should the businesses be registered? Some of them may be informal businesses and all of that. So I just want to understand, is it that it should be registered, maybe should have a certificate, or you should just be able to demonstrate the impact and it will be okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. You do not have to have a registered business. It's okay to just demonstrate that you planning or going to register it at some point, but at the time of the application, you don't have to have a registered business.
Okay. So this question is so important because in the global south, there are a lot of ideas, and a lot of young people try to put together some of these projects, impact projects, and so on and so forth. And a lot of them are yet to register, even the knowledge of registration and things like that. They may not have it. That's why it's so important. So I'm very glad that there's that openness on that point so that people can apply, and maybe even in the course of the benefiting from this fellowship, they can do things like that. Um, I would want to ask this question. Maybe before we wrap up, I have maybe two questions. Let me pick this. Okay. So somebody may be looking at this and saying, do I really fit into the criteria? I'm underqualified. Maybe this is not for me. We probably have tried and it never worked. Or I don't even know whether I should try, whether it would be worth it. What would you say to them?
I would say to them that they firstly need to identify what their goal is and align the fellowship with their goal, or see if the fellowship aligns with their goal. I think that's the better way to put it. There are types of work that actually don't require you to be part of any fellowship. It's so individual and it's so highly dependent on where you are, on what work you do. But regardless of where you trying to go, you firstly need to identify that destination, right? As an entrepreneur, as an individual, as a leader, you should have this final goal that you are striving towards. It doesn't have to be like the one ultimate goal of your life, but the goal for the next 5 years. And then you try to identify ways to get there. And if fellowship seems like a way to do so, that's great. But if the fellowship doesn't align with it, don't push yourself to do something that doesn't align with your final goal.
Okay. All right. So there were questions around specific tips for specific fellowships, and I'm not sure we have time for that. But before maybe you respond to this, I just want to say we've had sessions with Watson Institute in the past specifying criteria and some tips for specific fellowships. In the past, you go on our YouTube channel; it's there. You can watch it, and you can actually go onto the website, the link that has been provided. You go to the Impact Fellowships page, and you can see each of them, each of them, the application criteria that applies to each of them, and I'm sure you would get what fits best for you. And the earliest deadline for the opportunities is 28 June, and I think that should be the let me just be sure about that. BMO Fellowship, yes, BMO Fellowship. No, BMO Fellowship, the deadline is 12 July.
Western Union
Western Union is 28th June. Enlight Fellowship is 5th July. Take note of that. 21st June is for the Environmental Sustainability Entrepreneurship Program. And 28th June, we have Flagship Fellowship. And Ford Philanthropy Fellowship to the application deadline, priority deadline is 26th July, 26th July, I beg your pardon. On 12th of July, we also have Google Data Center Community AI Fellowship priority deadline. And So you can check out all the others. I mean, there are quite a number of them, and I think this is the best time to check each of such fellowships. So, Melina, I think our time is up, but do you have any closing thoughts for us?
No, I just want to once again thank you, Isaac, you and Opportunities for Youth, and everyone here for joining. It was a pleasure connecting with you and answering your questions. As I said, you can go ahead and to this link and check out what fellowships are available. I actually would also share my email address that you can reach out to and connect. It's melina@watson.is. Let me just quickly add it to this screen.
So as Melina tries to add it to the screen, let's take note of this.
And
okay,
yes, so
right.
you can reach out with any questions, but of course, go ahead and see what fellowships are there, apply as soon as possible to get a spot in one of the fellowships powered by Watson Institute. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we've had a very productive time in the last 1 hour, and I must say that there are a lot of opportunities out there for people. So apart from the impact fellowships, you can go on to opportunitiesforyouth.org and you would get a lot more opportunities. You get a lot more opportunities. And if you want to send us an email, you can send us an email on through contact@opportunitiesforyouth.org, or you can send us another email through opportunitiesforyouth at gmail.com, opportunitiesforyouth@gmail.com, and also contact@opportunitiesforyouth.org to ask us any question regarding these opportunities or any other opportunities that may be on our website. So remember that Watson Institute has a lot more opportunities for you all year round. So once you go onto the Impact Fellowship page, you're going to see the ones that will be opened later and the ones that are available now. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure having all of you join us. It was very interactive, and the recordings for this session will be on all the platforms. On YouTube, you'll find that opportunities for youth YouTube page. On LinkedIn, our page Opportunities for Youth, it is going to be there, and you can go share it with other people and even listen to it again. Some of you joined quite late, so you can still go in there and just watch it again and share it with other people, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot from it. Thank you so much, Melina, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I saw people join us from Africa, people join us from other parts of the world, and I'm very, very happy. That is what Opportunities for Youth is about, empowering youth from all over the world with not just opportunities. We have a lot more in store for you, and just continue to check our website, and I tell you, you are just going to benefit a lot from Opportunities for Youth. We are going bigger, and it's just going to be great this year, 2026. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Bye bye. Thank you. Have a good one.